Welcome to Chapter 6. We're going to be talking about management and the functions of management in this chapter. In this first video, we will talk about the basic management functions, and we'll only get through the first of those, which is planning. So the basic management functions, the thing that every manager must do, is plan, organize, lead, and control. So what we're trying to do as a manager is we're trying to achieve the firm's goals by getting the resources to work together so that we can do that. And so in order to coordinate those resources, the people, materials, the money, the equipment, everything else, in order to get that working, we have to plan, organize, lead, and control. And so in this video, we'll talk about planning. So first of all, when we're trying to start with our management process, we have to know what the firm's goals are. So that's the first step in any kind of planning process, is to know, where do I want to end up? Where do I want the firm to be? And then we start figuring out what are the steps that we can take to get us to that end goal. And so we're going to have to start with the basics in planning. We need to know, first of all, what the mission of the company is and the vision of the company. So we're going to start by looking at the mission statement and the vision statement. And these two are very different from each other. So the vision is looking at, where do we see the company going? What do we ultimately hope to achieve? So what does this firm aspire to do and to be if it achieves its mission? Where are we going? The mission statement is more about what we're doing right now. So it's a little more action-oriented and a little less future-looking. It's going to describe what the firm does today, what its functions are, what its current goals are. And so we can see the difference a little bit. I'm going to give you a few examples of mission statements and vision statements. All right, so remember, vision is where we want to be. It's our ultimate goal. So I love these. Disney says, to make people happy. Microsoft, empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. Nike, bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. If you have a body, you are an athlete. Love that one. I love Nike from the 1960s. Their vision was to crush Adidas. I think they've succeeded in that one. Teach for America. One day, all children in this nation will have the opportunity to attain an excellent education. Tesla, to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. So if you look at these vision statements, you will see that these are very lofty goals. Disney hasn't made everybody happy. Microsoft has not empowered every person and organization on the planet. Teach for America has not reached every child yet, but these are their aspirations. So this is what they want to achieve. So that's what the vision statement is all about. Now, mission statements is, what do we do right now? How do we define what we're doing? So TED, from TED Talks to spread ideas. Patagonia, build the best product, cause no unnecessary harm. Use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environmental crisis. Amazon, to be the Earth's most customer-centric company, where customers can find and discover anything they might want to buy online, and endeavors to offer its customers the lowest possible prices. So Amazon might be a little bit of a mixture of a vision and a mission. Coca-Cola, to refresh the world, to inspire moments of happiness and optimism, to create value and make a difference. Walmart, very simple. We save people money so they can live better. And Disney's mission statement compared to their vision of making people happy, to be one of the world's leading producers and providers of entertainment, information, using its portfolio of brands to differentiate its content, services, and consumer products. All right, so that's different from its vision of making people happy. This is what Disney does. All right, so when we kind of know what our goal is, where our company is trying to move, we can start thinking about our planning process a little bit more. So we start with that vision and mission statement, and this is where we want to be. This is where we are. So let's start saying, okay, we need to achieve X in the next 10 years. And that will help us achieve our mission and move us towards our vision statement. So we're going to start establishing smaller goals, 5 to 10 years ahead. So longer term, looking forward, probably 5 to 10 years in our initial planning, but then we're going to see that we're going to have broad, big plans, and then we're going to follow them up with small plans that help us achieve those big plans. So our goals can basically be anything the firm wishes to achieve. So it could be about sales growth, customer satisfaction. It could be like Patagonia, environmental impact. It could be employee morale. It just depends on the company and what their focus is. All right, so we know where we want to go. So it's often good for a company to perform what's known as a SWOT analysis. SWOT is an acronym that stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. All right, so the S and the W, the strengths and the weaknesses, are considered internal to the firm. So these are things that are within the firm's control. Opportunities and threats are external to the firm, so they are not necessarily under the firm's control. So the firm has to recognize these opportunities and threats and see how they're going to address them, since they cannot change them within the firm. That's what external means. Internal, we have control, we can change it. External, we have less control, so we need to manage it. All right, so what we're going to do is look at a SWOT analysis for Starbucks. This is a company I think you will all be familiar with. And so Starbucks does this annually. You can go and look online and see the past several years of Starbucks SWOT analysis. But it's really interesting. So we're going to start with Starbucks, what they perceive are their own strengths. And remember, these are internal to the company. These are things they have control over. So Starbucks believes that their strengths include a strong brand image, and they've done a lot of marketing and promotions to achieve that strong brand image. A strong financial performance, so they've managed their business quite well. An extensive international supply chain, which means they have created a path to get the high quality coffee from the farmers in the villages in a bunch of different countries to their facilities to be processed, sent to the stores, and served to the customers. So that's really important. They have a great network of getting the coffee in and processing it and getting it out to the customers. Internally, they've been performing acquisitions of competition. They have started some diversification. They're offering a wider variety of products in their stores, more teas, more other kinds of soft drinks, They're offering food products. They're also putting their products in the store. You don't have to just go to Starbucks to get it brewed, but you can buy it in a store. They feel like they've done a good job on quality, taste, and standardization of the product, efficiency, strategic planning, reinvestment, and their treatment of their employees. So those are the things that they see are their strengths and things that they have control over. Weaknesses. High prices. They are expensive. Their products are imitable, meaning competition can imitate. They can make a mocha java chip latte that tastes very similar to a Starbucks and maybe charge a little bit less. Now this is interesting. They put standardization as both a strength and a weakness because there are regional differences, there are international differences in taste. So while it streamlines their production function to have this kind of syrup goes into this kind of coffee and everybody uses this same syrup for this same coffee. At the same time, people in the South tend to like things that are a little bit sweeter than people in the North. In Europe, they don't like things sweet at all, but they like a more natural dairy product than we may use here in the United States. So standardization is good and bad in this case. They've had some trouble in Europe with taxes, their procurement practices. They've had some issues with that, and they've had some product recalls. So those are their weaknesses. And these are all things, see it says right here, internal to the company. External to the company, external to Starbucks, they see an opportunity by expanding into developing markets. So opportunities are where can we achieve our goals? How can we move those goals forward? So basically Starbucks is on every corner in the United States, so let's start moving into developing markets. They want to improve their diversification of both their business and their products. They want to have new products introduced, and they want to make some strategic alliances with other companies around the world. Threats, again, external to the company. Some threats are that there's a lot of competition in the coffee market, especially with the independent coffee house movement. So they've listed that as competition from low cost and independent coffee house movers. Big outlets are starting to compete. So, Dunkin' Donuts is offering a line of fancy coffees the way that Starbucks does, and they already exist and have the stores. There's a controversy over the California warning rule. So basically in California, Starbucks coffee has a chemical, a tiny amount of a chemical that may contribute to cancer. And so now they have to put a warning on every cup of coffee that's served that says this coffee may cause cancer. And then, of course, we've had some controversies. This refers to many different things. They talk about it as a Philadelphia arrest, but there's been some controversy with some with stores having loiterers arrested, and in this case, the loiterer was waiting for friends. He was a minority, and it looked really bad on the store to have him arrested when he was just doing what lots of us have done, is go into a Starbucks and wait for a friend before you make your order. So Starbucks has had a lot of that, and the way that they've tried to overcome that is, after that happened, they shut down all of their stores. They did some diversity and sensitivity training. So they've tried to address these threats as best they can. All right. So now we know where we want to be. We know where we are. We know what we're facing with our SWOT analysis. So now we're going to start our planning. And so our planning starts from the most broad perspective into the most narrow perspective. So most broadly, we call it strategic planning. These are the major goals and objectives that we hope to achieve in the next 5 to 10 year time frame. So Baylor does strategic planning every 10 years or so. We've had Baylor 2012. We have our Light Shine Bright campaign right now. That is our 10-year plan. So we do this, and businesses do this as well. So strategic planning is going to be done at the highest level of management, and it's really having the vision to see where we're going to go and what can we do to get there. Underneath the strategic planning, we have the tactical planning. So these take those huge, big strategic plans and break it down into smaller goals. So we start working towards these smaller goals in order to achieve the larger goals of the company. So tactical plans typically have a 1 to 3 year implementation timeline. Then we take those tactical plans, break those down into operational planning. And so these are more like a 1 year plan. It's going to involve day-to-day what we're doing. It's very specific. These are small goals. So this could be, hey, we're introducing this new product. And so this first year, here's our production goal and here's our sales goal for this one new product. Whereas at the strategic level, the plan may be to introduce 50 new products over the next 10 years. But down at the operational level, hey, we've got the design for this one product, so let's set some small goals and get us to the larger goals. So that's planning. We're going to stop with this video here and pick up on the management functions, other management functions in the next video.